This is April 15th, 2021. I am Commander Jay Antrax, and this is the Loose Screws Podcast. I didn't have any funny things to say, and now I've disappointed myself. I feel bad about that. Oh well. There it is. There's my Okay. With me tonight is Lieutenant Commander Data. Hi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be
Evening,
here. Thanks
morning,
for
afternoon. Commander Nurgle, hello.
Good evening, everybody.
And Commander NL Hate.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Fellas, this is all we have tonight, and that's going to be fine. There's plenty going on, sort of. This is going to be an episode, I think, mostly about Odyssey again, right?
Yeah. Had some new stuff
probably.
come out there on that front.
Yeah. So there's phase 3 started today. I've just launched into it. I haven't had a chance to do anything. I literally didn't even play any in phase 2 just because everything's going on. For me personally, like, I got my second COVID vaccine on Sunday, and it pretty much deleted my workday Monday. I wasn't like super sick, but I was wildly unproductive, and then I had to make up for that. And I had a very full schedule at work, so when I had to make up for it, it meant like working into the evenings and stuff. I haven't done any streaming this past week. It's been one of those times, but bounced right back on Tuesday and jumped right into that work. And hey, I felt very productive after that. And here I am. We're going to try some of this stuff out. So that's pretty much me. I went first. What have you been up to this past week, Data?
Yeah, I was lagging about 2 days behind you. I got my second vaccine Tuesday. So yesterday wasn't too productive.
Yeah.
I've been working at home since the whole pandemic started. So, just a bit less productive than usual. Whether I'm awake or asleep in my computer chair, it's hard for anybody to know when I'm working.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've taken about the same approach to the Odyssey Alpha. I haven't put a lot of time into it. I'll try the new gameplay loop a few times and then bounce off of it pretty quick, especially with all the BGS stuff we've had going on since we got back from the expedition. But yeah. Been having fun.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy, howdy. Nurgle, what's been keeping you busy?
Work this week. I've barely had any time to play at all, and
yeah,
I think we were talking before we started that the crashes have been crazy. I actually got on a little bit before we started tonight and crashed launching from my carrier, crash landing station. So,
like regular game crashes.
Yeah.
Man,
before that, I was doing extensive testing on orange Sidewinder errors, but so I don't know. Somebody had mentioned in chat that because I had not downloaded the latest update for Odyssey, and someone had mentioned that downloading the update made a lot of the crashes stop. So I am currently downloading the update to Odyssey.
It doesn't seem like that would have any effect.
You would think, but we always talk about spaghetti code here, so who knows?
Yeah. Well, I guess they have separate install folders, but they do share some config files.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like we always say here, just buy more arcs, and then your crashes will reduce.
Yeah, buy more arcs. It all works out.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. And NL Hate, how have you been doing this past week?
Oh, I've been doing a bunch of Minecraft stuff and gathering information for BGS stuff. the grind.
The grind.
The background leadership portion of things.
We secretly love it.
Well, good, because you have to do it.
Because nobody else is going to do it.
There are plenty of
Forever.
people that do lots of it. There's even some people that don't like us that run EDMC and keep an R up to date for us.
Yeah.
When I was in middle school, we had this thing called Model UN, the Model United Nations.
Yep.
And that's kind of what this is reminding me of, seeing a little bit of what you guys do behind the scenes.
I had
positions and communicating with others, laying out your resolutions.
I had never thought about it before, but I guess 4 years of high school did prepare me for this.
There you go. All right. Well, oh, man, I'm just now I'm in the outfitting menu in Odyssey, trying to wrap my head around it. Oh,
buy your
okay. More on that later.
Artemis suit. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to do that first, but I was just sitting in the Cobra and I thought, well, shoot, I'll check this out. Anyway, more on that later. I have thoughts. We're going to do some chit-chatting, but let's keep this show a little bit formatted at least. And let's figure out what's been going on with these two in the Squadron update as soon as I can find my damn... What the hell? How come I can't find my sounds? Did all my sounds just delete themselves? Wait, here we go. I found it. I'm so sorry.
Incoming priority message. Squadron Briefing.
All right, so we're going to do our own loose screws versions of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So,
yep, I'm in.
So, and in no particular order, we've got 2 elections going on right now, both doing, well, one just started, one almost finished, both doing fine. Not going to spend a lot of time talking about that. In terms of expansion, things were looking bleak last night, and the BGS giveth and the BGS taketh away. Today it giveth. Everything looks 100% different this morning, as I have a cat trying to climb onto my shoulder while I talk. We went from not being in control of our own destiny to being in the driver's seat for where we're going to go in the span of a few hours. And I would like to tell you that was all planned, but it wasn't. It was just good luck. And I'll let Hate talk about player beef.
Oh boy. Is that 5 now? I'll do one more. Oh boy! It has been an intense week in the player versus player market for the loose screws. The Farce conglomerate decided that they didn't want to take the peace offering and the olive branch they were delivering graciously, and decided that instead they would prefer boots to the mouth. Pardon me while I peep at their minor faction on Inara. But they were very, very close to a control conflict. And they are currently...
They were in the high 50s when we started this whole thing.
Yes, they're now in the low 20s.
They're in the mid 20s currently. They picked up just a little bit last night.
Oh, sorry, guys. I had to work.
I get it. But we've won the conflict in HIP 4907 with a sweep at the end. It was 0-3 against us, and we won 4-3. I'm really proud of everybody really, really tucking in and winning that. But yeah,
nice.
They're looking at a control conflict in their home system, and pretty soon they'll be looking at a retreat from HIP 4907.
And at any point, if they want to stop shooting and start talking, we'll listen.
Yes, absolutely. Please PM me. I am absolutely here to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't really want it to go that way.
No.
I think conflicts with other players is fun. This is a game after all. We didn't really want to like ruin their whole day, but at the same time, like there's some role play involved in player faction stuff, and we have a nice quiet neighborhood around here, and we aim to keep it nice and quiet. So don't mess around with that without getting the consequences.
We're the ones that went to them and said, "Hey, let's talk," and all we got back was "to war." And
right.
Okay, we can do that
right,
too,
buddy.
It's a bold move, Cotton. See how it works out for them.
Let's do that. Well, so this is the point in the show when I would kick over to Devo Looter for a Galnet news update. Devo wasn't able to be here. What's that?
I got a message from him to relay to the show.
Okay.
Because he wasn't able to make it tonight. He's still too worn out from traveling all the way to watch WrestleMania this past weekend.
Nice.
All he wanted me to report was that there was no Galnet this week. No articles posted, no news happened at all.
Oh, how mysterious.
Until today.
Yeah. A community goal did start today where Archon Delane is wanting to build a bunch of stations and also wants you to shoot people. So you can move cargo to build those stations, or you can shoot people. And either way, Kumo Crew will compensate you handsomely for that. I think there's probably some story stuff down the line that's going to make this pretty wild, depending on how it turns out. But for now, we'll see.
Sort of a follow up to what he didn't he bust into the Galactic Summit among the superpowers,
crash in the summit,
demand to be taken seriously.
Yeah, and I think this is another part of his play to be taken seriously as a major power.
Seems like it.
It's like an Arrested Development, that group of illusionists that Job is a part of. They hold up that sign. We demand to be taken seriously. Something like that.
Yep. Very good. All right. Well, this is the quickest by a wide margin that we've ever gotten to the main topic of a podcast episode. I think this is fine. So, Odyssey. The Phase 3 started today. Phase 3 includes the Artemis suit, which is the exploration-focused one. The expanded playable area extends to approximately 50 light years, and the genetic sampling tool, that's part of the Artemis suit, and the first football experience for setting foot on a newly discovered planet, and a mission and rewards rebalance was pushed through. There's also a wild series of fixes and, as usual, some known issues. I don't even know. I don't know where to start. I kind of feel like at this point there's enough going on that we can go anywhere, right? We can do kind of general impressions and go from there. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
So for anybody who's been able to spend some time in this afternoon, the missions and rewards rebalance, how extensive was that? I'm still downloading.
Yeah, and I've just turned on and been in the outfitting screen.
All right, so no answers there. Moving on.
Have you been playing though? You've been on it for a while.
I have been playing for 1 hour now in Phase 3, pretty much. So Have
you tried any missions?
No missions.
He's still in Super
I have. I'm right in the taxi. I'm still in the taxi. Damn it. No, I went to Pioneer, bought the new shiny Artemis suit. I barely had enough credits to cover that. Got got it loaded up and headed out to one of the local planets in this starter system, whichever one it is, Navini or something like that. And I'm all excited to try out the new genetic sampling. So the loop here, to lay it out for anyone who hasn't been watching any of the big streams today, you equip the detailed surface scanner to your ship and cruise up to a planet and map it just like you would before, but they've added a new hotspot feature with that, which I think is pretty neat. So instead of just
heat maps, right?
Yeah, heat map. Yeah, that's the right word for it. So you can get an idea of where to land to find biologicals to scan instead of just having to look for the signal or points of interest that it would show in Horizons, which the planet I'm on, there's a lot. You know, it's almost all green. I don't think I've gotten the all green. There's some bug where the planet shows up as all green. People have
the full green. Yeah, I saw that in some streams today.
Yeah, so that part works fine for me, but the issue starts when I get out and try to sample these damn things.
Yeah.
This sampling minigame is very difficult for me. I don't know if it's just me or some combination of my low frame rates I'm getting in Alpha and Odyssey as a whole. But man,
so what does it involve?
This minigame is hard. You pull out your sample.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
You pull out your sampler and the plant gun, and the primary fire does a scan, like a pulse wave analyzer sort of scan, and you look for the green plants from the scan. Then you go up and start scanning it, and it's like a series of concentric rings rotating, and you got to line up parts of the rings as they spin around, kind of like, a gene sequencing idea is what they're trying to convey.
So there's sort of like lines and dots in the circle, right? And you got to line them up with the corresponding lines and dots, but they're moving.
Yeah, and when it just doesn't seem like when I click when they're lined up, it's not giving me a success when I should have a success.
Download more RAM.
Yeah. Like I'm not bad at the mini games. Like I do pretty good at the subsurface mining and the core mining mini games. So I get the idea.
When you're running 60 frames per second, of course.
Yeah. I'm running 15 frames per second almost all the time in the alpha, and that's at low settings, no matter what I'm doing. Yeah.
What GPU is that?
I'm running a GTX 1050 Ti.
Okay.
Low power one, but it does okay on Horizons. So hopefully it'll do better once Odyssey releases for real.
I'm real excited for them to optimize the shaders in Odyssey so they can release it. I'm excited for the release of Odyssey. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I played the second day the first phase was out on my previous machine with the same graphics card because nobody can get any graphics cards. And now I have a, double the computing power as I previously had, but only 60-ish% RAM now. Whatever. It's cool. It's the appropriate volume of sticks now. And my machine runs so much smoother. Even though it's the same graphics card, I'm actually holding 60 frames, even in CZs, where previously I would drop down to 50 or 40.
Right on.
That first phase of the alpha, I couldn't get out of the station because my frame rate was so low.
Well, I am obviously not able to evaluate what am I trying to say? Like the amount of optimization that is needed and stuff like that with a 3080. But there are times when something else goes wrong. Like it's not just the shaders aren't optimized. Like yes, the shaders aren't optimized and the LODs aren't optimized and things like that. But there are times when something else happens and the whole thing kind of grinds to a very, very low frame rate. Like it feels like maybe 20 or lower for a time, and then nothing happens and it goes back to normal. So like something else is going on in the background. So something's still strange. But I think for the most part, it has been doing that less. Like every time there's like hot fixes and stuff, I have this perception like the game's sort of just behaving better from the perspective of those weird lag moments, not the general baseline frame rate, but just the lag moments. So I don't know if that's some kind of background bug or something like that. And I'm in here now and everything feels fine, just kind of walking around the station. So I don't freaking know. But
of course, I've been
whatever,
looking for
I
an
guess.
excuse to build a new computer for a while now. So maybe if they don't optimize Odyssey for low-end
you'll have
graphics
to.
cards,
Yeah. This
Sorry,
is not a time I would want to buy a graphics card.
No.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yuck. That's bad. Okay. Let's see. What do you so what are gosh. All right, that's the plant gun thing. It basically it feels like a circular key.
Yeah.
It's like sort of spinning, and it's sort of there's this game mechanic I'm thinking from like way long ago in video games where it's like a golf game or something, and the thing is swinging back and forth, and you got to hit the button when it's dead set in the middle, and that's going to be the perfect swing, right? For like, you know, PGA 92 or whatever. It's kind of that. You know what I mean? Like it's this thing that's rotating. You got to hit it at the right time. So there's analogies to the subsurface mining mini game in a sense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's subsurface mining except round.
Right. And so you got to hit this thing 3 times, and each, you know, you hit the outside ring, then the next, another one shows up, and then the third one, and you do all 3, and now you've got the sample, and it speeds up each time. It becomes a little more difficult. What I haven't seen is any, there's like the only consequence to not doing it is it just doesn't work. Basically, you have to keep doing the thing, right? Like if you mess it up, you just bounce back out one level or something.
Yeah.
So it's not like achieving the thing with fewer mistakes gets you a better sample or something.
You're not damaging the sample, when you mess up.
Right. You don't miss out if you take too long to get it or anything like that. And it also let's see, what's the other? So there's also this business about you have to get enough genetic diversity, right? So that pulse wave is showing you, like you sample something and then you pulse, and you got to go far enough away that you find something that's diverse enough, and you got to achieve 3 samples that are diverse enough, and then you've done it. then you've cracked the code. So between those 2, I guess that's the game. Which I haven't been able to. I've just watched this on videos so far. So
Get a good. The Artemis suit does have a nice jetpack upgrade compared to the others. You get a lot more.
Oh, cool.
A lot more boost time. And that.
I'm building an Artemis suit loadout right now. Oh, I get to carry. Does it have a primary and secondary?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good. Oh, yes, it does. All right. Sweet. Very good. So that's basically the new stuff. I was going to start flying around and checking some of this stuff out. But what have you all's experiences been just in the game so far as like of the whole thing? So we have a lot more combat stuff now. We have the exploration stuff now. Like what's sticking out to you that you like or dislike, or pick one? You want to be negative or positive? Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Nate.
I really like that they are pushing patches out to the alpha, showing us that they do care for the product and that they are working on it. There are some companies, I'm not going to point fingers, but later if you want to ask me about it, I will absolutely tell you and point all the fingers at a certain company who recently started doing a beta program and then rolling the same crap they had in the beta into their main game without doing any bug patches at all.
Wow.
And
So it could be a lot worse, is what you're saying to me.
Yeah, that game has had awards for their community. They have some tremendous content creators, and people that
what game is it? I can't do with this anymore.
Warframe.
Warframe. Okay, I don't know anything about Warframe. Sounds like they're having a crappy time.
They just had a new patch come out where they had to revamp their previous patch because that part was already broke when they released it after beta testing it. The new stuff that just came out already still broke.
Already still broke.
Already still
revamp
broke?
For the new thing is already broke. Again, different and same breaks. Still broke.
A patch to fix the patch that broke the things in the patch.
Still broke.
Terrible.
But Frontier is working on it. A lot of the CMs play. They play the game. They mean to play. They got a community manager back that was in their marketing department, but is now working as a community manager after they left to go do work on a different project, and now they're back because FDev actually cares about it, because their staff cares about the community and the game. I don't want to be an apologist. They have had their faults in the past, but they're working on it, and I really appreciate that. I want to stand on a soapbox and preach. Data, you were trying to go earlier. How about you?
Yeah, well, if you're done with your white knighting over there,
I'm trying.
for FDev.
I'm the bad guy now, guys.
I've had fun with both of the phases, with the phase 1 and 2 so far. I didn't play either of them for a real long amount of time, but I went through the power restoration gameplay loop in phase 1 and did a couple of CZs in phase 2. Those ground CZs were fun, but this frame rate I'm getting is really limiting my enjoyment of the FPS portion of the game. Yeah, except for this plant gun. This plant gun has not been fun for me so far. It could be fun. It could be satisfying, if you're able
Plant
to
gun nemesis.
succeed with your sampling. But yeah, I see all the Odyssey stuff as just being more fun things that you can do. It's not taking away from any other parts of the game, like we've all said before. It's just more stuff you might want to do in the game. So I'm all for that, along with improved graphics on all the ships and all the planets. The planets are looking nice too. I'm running around on.
Yeah, is that looking better on approach now? I can't seem to get into. Okay, so here's what's going on. I'm trying to get back into my Cobra, and every time I try to get in, it won't let me board. It says emergency board, discard backpack contents. It says I'm carrying 3 items, and they're valuable. Like, I'm super not. I have 1 med kit in my backpack. I have no idea what it's trying to tell me. I have nothing I can take out of my backpack.
Do you have more items than you have cargo space on your ship or something like that? Like more when you go to items in your backpack? I don't know.
Okay, my ship has max med kits, and I still have 1 in the backpack. But that's 1. It says I have 3 items. But I don't. I'm afraid they're talking about that. I have 2 suit schematics and 1 vehicle schematic, but those are both in the ship, not my backpack. I'm going to menu log. This is obviously broken. Okay, anyway.
Obviously.
I obviously that's crazy. I have really I haven't gotten to do a ground CZ yet, but I've loved what I saw. I think I'm just repeating what I said last week. And I know, like, just kind of what's happened since we last recorded is everyone's really exploring this whole close air support business, using dumbfire missiles to support people. I know some people here in our Discord got into some of that, and they had basically, a team where a couple people on the ground participating, and then one commander in the air. And they're basically just trying to call their targets, which is sort of difficult because there's no way to ping a target, especially between a ship and between a ship and the ground. But just describing the buildings and saying, to the north and stuff like that. And I guess they had pretty good luck with that, although one missile went too close and killed somebody that it wasn't supposed to.
May I step in?
Of course.
Is there a beam laser weapon, or is it just burst or pulse laser weapons that the player can handle on the ground?
I see where you're going with this, and I'm with you.
Oh, to paint the target? Yeah.
Exactly.
Paint the target.
Currently, there is no beam weapon.
That's unfortunate.
There needs to be a combat suit add-on that is a marker of some kind.
Like a laser pen.
Yeah.
I agree.
Or maybe
that's weird. I bought 2 missile racks for this ship, and I only have 1 missile rack.
Maybe you balance that by putting it on a different suit. So you have to have a designated scout who's not in a combat suit to do the painting.
Oh. Your sniper suit.
Yeah. Sneaky suit.
Now there is a sniper, right?
I think so, yeah. Seen some longer ranged rifle.
I
want a beam laser just so I can sweep it back and forth across combat field and just cut people in half. Big lightsaber sticking out there.
It would have to drain so much of your power, right?
Yeah.
Quite a thing. Okay. All right. And the whole drop sequence business, very, very good, obviously.
That was fun. I did that a couple of times.
Yeah, and I would like to add, because I haven't had a chance to do a ground CZ this past week, but I was able to watch some footage online, just spectating them from above. And even if you don't want to go down and play in a CZ, fly down and watch. That's fantastic. I mean, there's something going on everywhere, and it's a bird's eye view from a ship. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like an ideal use for the close air support is going to be, because the CZs are this capture the locations kind of gameplay. What makes it easy is, the enemy is moving in on Alpha. Rain down missiles on Alpha. Now it's clear, okay, now we're moving in, kind of thing. Like, that's an easily hittable location,
right?
From the air.
If you can see, I wonder if you can see the control points from a ship. I wonder if that red or green area shows up. I don't know if it does or not.
You should at night, right? Because they do have a glow to them.
Yeah. They show up real bright on the ground. Yeah.
So, okay, so let's see. As far as the fixed issues go, they've further adjusted the fire's damage area of effect, further reduced yet again. Very glad. Let's see. Fixed a communication in the flight tutorial was duplicated. There's an issue where a data delivery was not possible. That's fixed. Fixed skimmers jittering around. Oh, we saw that. We were trying to shoot down a Goliath one time and sort of couldn't hit anything because they were moving at a 1 frame per second animation. It was very terrible. Fix an issue where not all fires could be extinguished. I heard many people experiencing that. All the buildings don't have air. How could there be fire? Issue with pixelated scan line in the FSS. Oh, okay. So this is how. So we noticed how the full spectrum scanner was looking different. So that, I guess, was a bug. It wasn't meant to look different. Is that right? I'm about to launch out.
That's how I read that.
Yeah, because I thought they've changed it. I honestly didn't didn't mind it all that much. Like it looked less like space, but it's a scanner, so I don't know. But I'll go check that out, I guess. Fix an issue where the passenger in multi-crew would disconnect, the orange Sidewinder issue. Transferring consumables from the ship's inventory. They say that fixed that issue, but it sure sounds like that's the issue I was just having.
It does.
A bunch of clowns. Fixed a crash where inviting a player to multi-crew when you're on foot. Fixed an issue where long distance planner in Apex would soft lock. There's another soft lock. Interacting with the terminal shortly after loading the game. The victory credits shown in a conflict zone were wrong.
On the terminals, I really hope they fix when you interact with the terminal. I hope it goes to some like preset view point. Right now, it's still.
Oh yeah. How you have to line up your view. Ugh.
Yes, before you interact with it.
Yeah, that's
like
aggravating.
When I interact with it, it should step me over so that it fills my view, right?
Yes,
or something.
Yes, not be at some odd angle.
Yeah. So fix an issue where the players would move through the counter if sprinting and interacting with a vendor or a terminal.
Run so fast you pass through it.
There's lots of fun screenshots in our Odyssey channel of that.
Yes.
People going behind the counter. Fix an issue where the main menu would appear much smaller if the player had the system map opened when on foot. So that's great.
And that looked weird.
Are stuck. Yeah, they fix an issue where players are stuck in an aggressive pose.
Like flipping the bird or something like that.
Well, since we don't have a flipping the bird pose, I'm assuming they mean like as though you're drawing a weapon maybe or something.
Cowboy Red, the big iron on his hip.
Maybe
There will be no Fallout New Vegas references allowed here. Sorry.
It was a song before Fallout. Texas Red, not Cowboy Red. Texas Red. My bad.
Fix an issue where players couldn't access containers due to lack of authority level. Oh, I've run into this. Yeah, that sucks. Players. Okay, and the last one. Players would get stuck behind the counter in Pioneer supplies. Okay, that seems like it was sort of another one of the same thing.
Speaking of people being caught behind the counter, the Mechanic put out a new video recently from the Odyssey Alpha. So I recommend you guys watch that. It was a ton of fun to view.
Does he get stuck behind the counter?
Yeah. He orders his own drink from the wrong side of the counter. He also poked some fun at Sleepy Pete.
Yeah.
Because you gotta.
Yep. All right. I'm going to run down known issues as well since I've got it here. So stuff that we already know about. When the player approaches plants they've already sampled and they obtain the sample for, the UI text says insufficient diversity instead of already sampled. Okay, that's annoying. The sample burning animation is unclear that is in that the samples are being destroyed or that it can be canceled. What is burning samples?
I don't know. The streams I was watching today, it's like when you collect the 3 unique samples for one species, you pull the canister out of your plant gun and like flip a switch on it. I don't know if that's burning it or if
okay, so maybe this is like you have to clear the samples if they're not the ones you wanted.
I want to start sampling something new.
Clearing your canister so that you can get 3 more from something you actually wanted.
I can't test this because I can't collect one sample.
haven't found your way into the one thing. I'm buzzing around over the surface looking at okay, I want to start talking about this. So I'm just going to finish running through known issues. The quick item wheel is very hard to use with the mouse. Yes, it's not very hard to use with the mouse. That's wrong. It's impossible to use with the mouse if you if your mouse is even in an atmospheric environment, that will be too much like vibrational movement. It's insane. I got used to using it with the keyboard keys instead, which is clunky and horrible. But the mouse would be great. I'd be able to zip through and grab an energy pack or whatever very quickly with that. Okay. Quick item wheel. Yeah. Players find themselves outside the concourse when interacting with certain vendors. Is this what was happening to Volt? Where he was suddenly flying in the middle of the station just because he tried to talk to a vendor? Okay. Cuttable panels get stuck inside the housing. Okay.
Yes.
I've seen
That's
that
annoying.
crap happening.
Yeah.
It happened to me.
People were saying that you can usually still interact with the thing behind it. It's kind of through the panel, but
you can cheese it.
Really?
Yeah.
When I had it happen to me, I couldn't, but I only had it happen once.
Yeah. Maybe you weren't able to hook around the edge or something.
You can cheese it before you even cut the panel out sometimes too.
Oh, really?
You could interact
with
it. Yeah. Get the right angle.
All right.
Whoopsie.
Players may arrive at an empty conflict zone. Settings menu options are cut off at the bottom of the screen. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. Players unable to target a system manually jump to it when using the galactic map.
It's interesting.
Oh, okay. Large numbers. I wonder if that's what's... So I had this thing the other day. I signed in. It was actually before it was before today. It was before the Phase 3 launch. But the only time I signed in actually on Phase 2, I was trying to get to my Cobra, and I still had a bounty because I, killed a bunch of people. No big deal. So I had this bounty, but I happened to be at the station owned by the faction I had the bounty for. So I couldn't pay it off at the Interstellar Factor. I was going to have to turn myself in. And I was like, I don't want to do that. So I got in my Sidewinder, which I was allowed to get into. Wasn't allowed to get in the Cobra because I couldn't access the shipyard because I was anonymous. Okay, so I get into the Sidewinder and I'm like, I'm just going to go to a different system and then I'll clear my fine and then I'll get into my Cobra. But I literally couldn't jump to any other system. Right? I didn't. So the Sidewinder, the starter Sidewinder could not get me to anywhere from where I was. I could not jump to even the closest system. There was no system I could jump to. So I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of a weird, I know this this wouldn't happen in like the starting player area and blah, 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 but I couldn't buy a new FSD because all this stuff. So I was like, well, whatever. So I self-destruct the Sidewinder and then it tells me it's going to send me to the detention facility. And I was like, I don't want to go to the detention. No, sorry. That was my only option. I explode the Sidewinder. I go to the detention facility, spawn back in with a new Sidewinder. Still can't get anywhere from this system either. Still can't get anywhere. So I was like, I can't. At this point, I could call an Apex, but I was like, no, shut up. So then I exploded the Sidewinder again, but then declined to rebuy it because it was just a free Sidewinder anyway. So I paid 0 credits for one thing or 0 credits for the other thing, but the other thing was in a different system, which happened to be a system where my Cobra was. So it's like this weird freaking thing. But it makes me wonder, why am I telling this story? Why are you telling this story, Trax?
What's the point?
Because I wonder if some of those systems were close enough because like these were the immediately nearby systems. I wonder if they were close enough, but I just couldn't. Every time I was targeting it, it says you can't do that. You can't jump there because of a bug.
Probably.
Anyway, probable. Although I don't think it's crazy for an alpha for me to get stuck in a situation like that wasn't thought about before they chose these systems, right? It's just a chunk of space they unlocked, Okay. Large numbers of AI seen in some station.
Savetskaya Vision.
Savetskaya Vision is apparently a hot Raven party. So go
Flash
there.
mob.
Players may find an empty ship hangar when attempting to board host ship in teams. Oh, okay. So if you're in a team and you go to the ship and you can't see the ship, players are not able to pick a side in a conflict zone. Oculus Rift does not display in the game. That's an old one. from before. If a player performs a melee attack or throws grenades, obstructive defects block their visor. That sounds fun. I don't know what that looks like. Collection mission objective will only update for one person in the instance. Okay.
We've had that
Does that
happen.
mean we have shareable missions now? Because last I heard, you couldn't even share the missions, so
No,
it's only updating in one instance anyway.
That's still a known issue, so no.
Huh. Okay. Dropships will sometimes attempt to dock with the settlements rather than dropping the players into the conflict zone. That's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. I'm picturing
Those
I'm watching
silly
like the thing.
dropships.
The cargo bay opens up and they're like, okay, are you ready to go? Okay, hold on, let me get to the pad. It's great.
Yeah, I wonder if it still teleports you back into the drop seats from the multi-crew seat when they do that or not. Probably just keep you in the multi-crew seat. But.
That's funny. Yeah. Okay, so I've just been flying, like I just took off from Artemis Station here on this planet, and I like the thin sky effect. It's cool. The terrain looks awesome. It's super detailed. I will say there's still a lot of like textures sort of clipping and flickering and popping in and out as I fly around, and the LODs sometimes like snap into place and sometimes they do the fun little morph thing. But generally I can see a lot of flickery textures, and the levels of detail kind of pop in is super obvious. And I have like all the settings maxed in this. So it's not like a low detail setting on my part. There's some stuff going on in here, but I can tell when it works right, it's going to look outstanding. That's my thought right now, and then I guess I'm going to go out to Super Cruise and scan some stuff. What are you guys up to?
Probably the last thing I have to say on Odyssey is for this week I've been messing around in the galaxy map for a few minutes, and definitely some changes there. Maybe some for the better, some for the worse. One really nice thing is this search bar they've added to the top of the gal map. You can start typing in a system name and it'll auto-populate with systems and with stations.
Oh, like real-time search.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Stations too. Oh, good.
Yeah,
yes, that was super needed.
There's a station named Nurgle. Do you know
Yes,
that?
there is. There's a system named Nurgle.
Nice. So, and they've got, there's a bit more of left to right mousing on the new UI. Sort of on your left-hand side, you've got all your galaxy-wide tabs, and on the right-hand side, you've got all your system-wide tabs.
Kind of more specific stuff. Yeah. I'm finding it still very quick to operate when I grab my HOTAS like I used to operate it. So mousing, sure. Like you have to reaching from one side of the screen to the other. But I am not used to controlling anything with that mouse anyway, because I'm a VR player. I got used to controlling everything with the HOTAS. So if I'm using my hats to navigate around menus, they're actually very quick, and I kind of like them quite a bit to use that way. And I have my mini sticks so that I can like sort of pan around and stuff. So
yeah,
that's how I've been doing it.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that works really well. And there's also a copy system name button now. So you focus on a system. Oh, are you kidding?
That's so good.
You can copy system name.
Oh, that's so good. I'm excited.
Let me test. Does it copy it into the real notepad?
Into a real clipboard?
It does. It copies into the real clipboard. You can paste it into a notepad.
That's been desperately needed.
Which means there might be a paste button somewhere in the game too, and it'll work. And it'll work with third-party tools if it does turn up.
Yes, you can paste it into the search bar. Well, not that you would need that function, really. Anyway,
well, I mean, you can use your Control V, but like still.
Yeah. So,
but that means console players are going to be able to copy and paste.
Yeah,
it
does.
That's who needs the paste button.
Yeah, next year when they get Odyssey.
Well, optimistically.
I mean, we are still thinking they're going to get it someday, right?
Oh, eventually.
All right, I'm doing some FSSing. I will say, here's another thing I think at this point, by the way, in the podcast, just speak up. if you got something you want to talk about, because I don't have a plan. I don't have a plan. I think the FSS looks pretty much back to normal. So I guess that was a bug that made them look kind of harsh like that. But I will say that I'm coming to really like most of the menus. That doesn't erase what we talked about last time about like common design language and stuff. But I think the new Gal map I'm really kind of in favor of, except I haven't been able to find out. I'm going to go look for it now again, I think. I haven't been able to find in all the filters that they have, which there are many. So if I'm panning around here, I can show like you used to have realistic mode and map mode and power play mode, right? So you still have some of those, but you also have user data view. And within realistic mode, or I guess not within realistic mode, within map mode, you can stack all these filters, right? So I can go into the allegiance and start filtering some things out, and then I can go into some of the other ones, right? Or at least it looks this way. Here, let me turn on. I only want to see industrial. Oops, I'm on the wrong side. I'm still getting used to this. Okay, industrial, I have some filters on there. Governments. Oh, no, it still switches. I spoke too soon.
Stacking the filters.
It's not stacking the filters. Oh, now I'm horribly disappointed.
So it's
This was such a good idea. Like, I want to be able to see, like,
it's not
federal extraction. Yeah, it's not an and. Like, it's changing which filter I'm paying. Like, I can save the filters between them, but then I'm still toggling. You know, like, civilization filter. There's none, human, guardians, and Thargoids. But if I select that, it erases my selections in government type.
Yeah, I want to know zero population federation aligned systems. That's the stuff.
Exactly. Like here I was all lining up to talk about how great I thought the new Gal map was, because these filters were independently settable. And now I'm finding that isn't the case. Okay, well, my other problem was that they totally got rid of the services filter. It doesn't exist anymore. How do I find interstellar factors?
Inara?
Yeah.
No, how do I no, look. Yeah. I mean, that is how I actually find them, sure, but there is when I'm bumming around loose screw space, I've explored all these systems before. So faster than Inara, I can just go to the system filter in GalMap. Like at the point where you've explored all the local stars, then yeah, you can find the nearest one just by looking.
So Bumper or
but now
Mayakoro?
that filter just what's that?
So Bumper or Mayakoro?
Sometimes there's some other ones that I frequent as well, actually, if I'm on the other side of the blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. Depends on which faction we're fighting and how many scan missions I've done.
It's like they just forgot to put services check filters in there. There's a services tab on the map. That'd be a bug.
Map mode.
It may be a limitation of
services
the alpha
tab.
server.
When I go to user data view, there's a map mode services.
Oh, okay. So so they moved it out of map mode. So you ever use it out of services? Yeah, but that's not it doesn't show me filters.
Yeah, it shows the trade lines.
And then there's no services.
It shows the trade lines on the map.
Yeah.
That's all it changes.
Okay, so maybe this is just a bug. Well, shoot. So I was really excited that the Gal map had this major improvement, and now I found that no, the functionality hasn't changed at all, just the button layout. So I'm getting used to a new button layout, and I don't get fucking anything back for it. Now I'm back to being upset. I do not like. You had this great opportunity, FDev, to make so the filters would stack, which is like brain dead obvious how needed that is and how useful that is, and then you instead didn't put that in and took away the services filters. Okay,
well,
okay.
They're using the same colors among the different filter legends, so they can't stack because there's no unique colors.
For God's sake, sure they can, because the ones that don't match just disappear off the map like they've always done. Okay, well, if I can be positive for a moment, I rather am enjoying the whole lighting engine. At first, it seemed like almost nothing had changed except that the gamma levels were totally different. But now I'm realizing that everything is like really high contrast, which serves to emphasize what's going on now between on the surfaces, sunny surfaces, shady surfaces, etc., and atmospheric worlds where there is some light scattering versus non-atmospheric worlds where there isn't. And I rather like it. Space is looking pretty dark. Stars are faint when they're far away instead of being like plain as day, even when I have a main star in view. Everybody talked about the sort of gray smear that was the blackness of space before, and now it looks black as hell. So I like that. What do you guys think? Am I stupid? I don't know.
No,
My
I kind
ship
of like
panels are super bright looking. They have such a glow.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not sure.
I won't notice.
I'm not sure I'm a big fan of that, but I do like the increased contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And once you realize,
Yeah, like I think.
Once you realize that the shadows change based on whether or not you have an atmosphere, it's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I do have a feeling that by the time, like if I pop this back into VR right now, I would probably find that the system, or not the system, like the ship menu screens and stuff, the orange glow is very bright from them. And that's usually something like VR players tend to drop their gamma a little lower to make up for that, like because it's a little harsh on the eye.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that we're going to want... I like everything else about this lighting engine. It looks cool. We talked about the lens flare being new and different, and a bunch of the other visual effects were updated as well, shields and stuff like that.
Oh man, the shields look so good.
They look cool. I haven't even. I've only got, again, most of the stuff I've only seen like for like a second. So yeah, I
Oh, and the auto landing on the ground surface.
Oh yeah,
I've been taking advantage of that. It's a nice addition.
Did it work well?
Yeah, it does for me.
Cool. Ooh, high grade emissions in Civil War. Wow. Not that I should care about that in the alpha server. Anyway,
Yeah.
see how trained I am?
Ooh,
Okay, I think
That
I gotta
riveting
put this map
gameplay
back to
loop
realistic
of-
mode.
That high grade emissions riveting gameplay loop.
So what was Kenzie saying when I went out to get my drink?
What do we think about this in the menus, this hold to select business? Now that I'm kind of doing it quicker, it's not bothering me as much.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I was complaining about this with Jay Baron yesterday because I thought it wasn't working, but I think it's working for me now.
Like it wasn't selecting?
My issue, I thought, was when I was like in the system map or the Gal map, when you click on something with the mouse that you're not currently focused on, it moves the map to focus on it. I thought
Right.
it was disrupting the hold signal when it moved the map, but I don't think it is actually. So it's moving. It's
let me
moving
try it
your
with mouse.
It's moving your planet off of your mouse cursor, but it still selects it when you hold on it.
Oh, mine's super not working. It's really easy to do with Hodes, but I'm clicking hold to plot route. Absolutely nothing is happening when I'm doing that.
Chat with my mouse.
Oh, it's weird. And it's drawing the dot kind of below the star. I wonder if that's the problem. Because it's as though the dot or the sort of circle that I have to... Oh, wait. I almost got it for a second. I have to hold it just right. Yeah, no, this is not behaving correctly with the mouse. It's like there's a discrepancy between where the mouse is and what system it thinks I'm actually clicking on, sort of. And when I try it from different angles, the little circle, the little pulsing circle kind of moves in the background, like it's not on the same plane of the three-dimensional space. So I think there's a menu bug going on here. But with the Hodes, it works really good. It's just with the Hodes, it's also not necessary. I feel like this is like
moving your focus when you move that little circle cursor with the HOTAS.
Yeah, I suppose, but like a single click would have worked, I guess, is what I'm meaning. Like there's no need for it with that. I think this is like a gamepad thing where a single click might move the focus but not actually select the system, whereas you hold to actually select and plot the route, right? So, and that is a way of getting around having fewer buttons like you do with a gamepad. However, with a HOTAS, this doesn't matter at all, does it? You know, because you have tons of buttons, or mouse and keyboard, this shouldn't matter at all either, you know, because you can just use a different button. So I just wonder if this is something we'll be able to switch off for situations where it's not necessary like this. All right, I'm going to fly to some random star.
When you just do the click with the HOTAS button in the gal map, it zooms you to the system. It brings the focus to the system. Yeah, you got to hold your select button to plot the route.
Yeah. So are you thinking that would be valuable?
Oh, maybe. Just noticed that it did that. It kind of zoomed you into it.
Maybe I speak too soon.
I don't know. I'll withhold final judgment until we get that full release.
Yeah, I do like the new graphics.
So wrong.
I like this hyperspace animation. It has a little bit more of a disconcerting sort of like a stretching and sliding kind of feel to it, like the way black holes stretch and slide the screen. There's like a little bit of that to it, I think.
I hadn't noticed that. I think I've only done one jump. I just noticed it's a little bit more Star Wars. They got a bit more of that blue tunnel in there, more blue like a hyperspace. Yeah. Yeah, that's all I noticed about it. But yeah, it is definitely improved.
Yeah. All right. I wanna try to find some biologicals or something. I gotta scan this system. What else do I want to talk about? We still don't have any plasma weapons. And I haven't even gotten around on foot to check out any of the new suit stuff. What do you hate?
I'm
still aggravated by the jarringly disconnected menus, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
The low frame rate.
Hey, do you guys see so I'm just flying my ship around this system. I see a bunch of like lines like they are going to be attached to sensor blips, but there's nothing at the top of the line.
That's interesting.
Well, hold on. No, they're planets. It's the planets in the system, except the little circle that would represent the planet on the sensor is like either not there or so faint that I can't see it. Because this is a fully scanned system. Jeez. Okay. Maybe it's a bug. I don't know. This is getting awkward to talk about.
Yeah. For all of you listening, wondering why we're describing what we're seeing on screen, subscribe to our premium tier level, and you'll get the video. You'll be watching the video feed of this along with everybody else.
Yeah,
that's already subscribing.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give about anything a pass because in the alpha, I don't worry too much about it. I think what I will hate the most, at least from what I've seen so far, is the instancing. Like Dubs and I weren't able to instance in the same conflict zone the other day.
Oh, really?
Kept crashing, and when he did get in, we couldn't see any of the same stuff. So probably just more of the same issues.
And this is when you're in a group already?
Yeah. When it wasn't crashing, we still couldn't see each other. And it was crashing a lot.
That is something they absolutely have to get fixed.
Yeah, I agree.
It's odd because I actually haven't. Well, I don't know. I was going to say that's one thing that I haven't seen a lot of comment on, at least outside of this Discord. Although I have seen quite a bit of it here. So I don't know. Maybe it's just people are just keeping their mouths a little bit shut about things. Do you think stars look different? I'm trying to decide if this star looks different.
No, I don't think so.
God, I think I'm going crazy.
You're looking for things.
Okay, I finally found a system that I haven't already scanned, so I can like check out some of the planets in it and stuff. I was really hoping that by the time we got system scans, there's no planets in this system. For crying out loud. This is so hard to tell. Like, I just want to test the plant gun, man. This is so hard.
You could have stayed in the starter system to do that.
I know. I should go back. Where's
if you do start exploring too far up in the galactic plane, you better make sure that you can get back.
Yeah.
Who
are you going to call?
Who are you going to call?
Who are you going to call? Tephlon.
So,
Peter.
So what now? So one of our lovely community members here in the Loose Screws Discord server, fabled friend and compatriot. I've literally forgotten how to say his name, and I feel like I'm about to say it wrong. Hold on, I have to go to the right channel.
Just wing it.
You're doing it right. Just wing it.
Seta.
Yeah.
Seta. Jeez.
Like that.
No, I get confused because when you ping him, it shows a different name. People change their nicknames to their commander name. Anyway, Commander Seta got stuck. He was way out. He's been hanging around Colonia and just chatting with us and stuff like that, and got stuck something like 6,000 light years out from Colonia, too high above the plane.
Yeah.
What did he do? Do an injection?
Not just 6,000 light years out, 6,000 light years up.
He made a neutron jump he couldn't get back from.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
He neutroned into a system he didn't have the range to get back out of.
Bummer.
It happens to the best of us. So I think it was Tuesday night. I think that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But a bunch of us, Tephlon volunteered to go rescue him with his carrier Public Enemy. So a few of us fueled him up, tritium, and off he went. And I think they completed that rescue this afternoon. 55.
Yeah, he was,
all right.
He was coming back
carrier
in this
jumps
afternoon.
to get out there. 55 jumps one way in his carrier. Yeah.
Now, I saw on the way out, there was an error in route planning.
Yeah, he misjumped.
Does that mean he's going to not have enough fuel? Because I think the fuel calculation was...
He's got plenty.
Oh, he's got enough.
He's at like 2,000 to spare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Let's, in an effort to make this slightly less rambly and maybe even end the podcast at some point, I'm going to steal Lave Radio's thing. One thing you like and one thing you hate so far about Odyssey, and I say that hate has to go first.
I hate that we're not sharing it with consoles.
Oh.
Okay, easy, low fruit. Go on.
Yeah.
And I like that they are engaging the community that is part of the alpha with extra patches, trying to patch the bugs out so that they can attempt to release a superior product with hopefully fewer bugs and hopefully less spaghetti.
High hopes. Cool. What do you think, Nurgle?
I hate the different menu systems and how they don't mesh together. That really aggravates me. I love, amongst other things, the spectacle that is ground combat. And I have to agree with hate on this, that so many times you'll see a company release a piece of software, in a public release, and it's actually still in a beta. And they don't want to talk about the problems.
Changed.
Yeah, and FDev from day one has been very open that, look, this is an honest to God alpha. Things are not going to work, and we want to know about it when they don't. And you just don't often get that level of honesty and openness from one of these companies, because they're trying to sell you something and they don't want to talk about their flaws. And FDev has been open about it, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's good.
Data? I love that we aren't playing this with console commanders. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I like, I don't know. I guess I'm liking all the new tools, all the new suit tools more than the guns I've had.
Okay.
I'm having some more, memorable experiences with them. Mostly the art cutter. I haven't gotten into the profile scanning or the profile stealing too much. So the art cutter and the energy tool and even the plant
You've been
gun a little
zapping
bit.
people though, right?
Trying to, yeah. Yeah. mostly those two so far. I think it's fun messing around inside the buildings, around the buildings and the settlements. I hate this fucking plant gun genetic sampler though, so I guess I'm a bit, contradicting myself here. But
FPG, fucking plant gun.
Yeah.
Love it.
Of course, everyone else, as soon as they try it, they're going to get it on the first try.
I'm about to try it, so we'll find out. Okay, so I just got this this dialogue here in the DSS, the detailed surface scanner. So I did the scan, and it's showing me the heat map for all. Okay.
Can
so
you filter it?
It's the same. It's the same key as my change pages in the menu key, which for me is a modifier and a hat. So I can flip between all bacterial colonies. That's the solid green. I think people. So I was watching Psykit's stream today, and she kept seeing every planet was solid green. I think she flipped it to bacterial colonies. It's the entire planet,
and they're everywhere.
Conca is also solid green. So I wonder if those are because there's none. And then we have fungoids, and there's sort of a smattering of blue against the gray. Tusok, and then all again. Okay. Fungoids and Tusok have the same heat map. Interesting.
Yeah, your fungus lives in the tube sock.
Wait, there is literally a biological named tube sock?
No, not tube sock. It's like TUSUOK or something like that.
Oh, it's Tusock, like Dr. Seuss. One sock, two sock. Okay.
Yeah, except not like that, like TUS. Okay, I'm going to go into one of the hot spotty areas and hopefully find something. Yeah, so on that note, I've included in the show notes a number of things. A link to the thread about this update, about this stage 3, phase 3 alpha, a link to the phase 3 video, which is Art talking about the things you need to know in 60 seconds, a link to the feedback thread specifically for phase 3, and a link to the issue tracker as before. And also, they asked for focused feedback in the stream on Tuesday, specifically regarding the inventory screens. So I posted a link to that call for feedback in the forum, and it is hopefully something that people can help them with. I was going to talk about the menus. That's kind of what I was doing when we first started up on the podcast, and then got distracted by other things because I was in the outfitting menu, and there's aspects of it that seemed super confusing and to not make sense at first. And I was like, wait, I have to, it's like they separated the buying modules from the equipping modules. And I was like, wait, at first this seems reasonable. And then it seems like this is horrible. It's going to take me twice as long to do anything. And then I realized that sure, the menus are separated, but actually you can just access anything from anywhere. So now I'm left thinking, okay, so I guess we have sort of a more complicated menu, except we also don't, because you can do anything from any of the other menus, I don't know what to think anymore.
After seeing spacesuit loadouts, I was very excited to see ship loadouts. Like we could save, preset
Right.
ship loadouts. I was so pumped, and then I clicked on it, and it just shows what you have equipped. So unless I'm missing
And
something there, I was let down.
it doesn't seem to be stored loadouts. It seems like you can go to a specific part of the menu if you just want to adjust what your ship is loaded with based on kind of like a set of modules that you have. And then there's sort of another way to look at it where you're browsing the store. And when you hover over an item, you're looking at the store stock, and then it says in the corner of that, like if your ship has any of these equipped already and if your ship has any slots that would fit. And so there's sort of two views of the same thing though, because from the outfitting, you can say, buy something for this slot or replace this module with something from the store. And from the store, you can say, buy this and stick it on my ship. Or you can just say like, buy it and store it or something. So you can like buy a bunch of modules just to put in storage. And then I checked just hopefully, and then saw that, still 120 modules of storage. So that's not great.
Aww.
Although they're organizable now. You can filter them by like hard points and utilities and core modules. So you don't have to view the entire list with no organization. There's some organization.
That's better.
I don't know. All right, I'm about to put on my Artemis suit and disembark next to some biologicals. Think I can pull off this plant gun business?
You got this.
All right. I'm coming up to some things here. I think 7.
What's your frame
7
rate?
is my. I need to turn on like an overlay or something. Or
Control F. Control F.
Control F?
I think, yeah.
It doesn't show that for me. Is that a keybind?
I don't think so.
It's not. That has never worked for me, and people keep saying that. I used to use it with like a Steam overlay, but then I turned all my overlays off. If there's how do I show my FPS in game?
Shift
it seems
tab to bring the overlay up.
I have the Steam overlays turned off.
Oh,
I should just turn them back on. But miscellaneous. Where's it? Because the game has one too. I don't think I have the game bars turned on. You pretty much have to turn off overlays if you play and stream in VR because they conflict with things. Hold on. I'm sorry. This is bad. This is bad podcasting. Let me see if escape out of this menu. Let me see if I can just quickly switch on the Steam overlay because that used to reliably show me in-game overlay. It's still not showing the FPS counter. Great. I have to log out and back in. Damn. Why? Okay. I don't know. I don't know what FPS I have. It is
a mystery to be revealed like next week.
Yeah, it's at least 60. I don't know. I have everything set to 60 instead of 100 right now. Okay, I'm ready to sample. I'm gonna. Oh, I see. So the main fire button does the pulse. Oh, that looks cool. Everything's green because I haven't sampled anything yet. All right, ready to sample. So I do secondary fire.
Hold the secondary fire to start it, and then you primary fire to lock the rings into place.
Oh, I see. And it gives a little pulse indicating when it's in the right spot. All right, got it. Oh, missed the second shot. And again, and again. Nope.
You're just trying to make me feel better.
Nope, I can't get past the second one. I did it like 4 times. Oh, got it. Yes. Oh, missed the third. And nope, missed it again.
It's so frustrating.
Oh, this is frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes. Let the anger flow through you.
So, okay, here's what I'm getting from this. Because the speed changes each time, if you try to like rush it, then you don't get in the rhythm. So I got to wait for it to go around a few times to feel. This is the musician in me, right? I'm trying to feel the rhythm and then hit it at the right time. 1, 2, 3, hit. Nope, missed it again. I can't get that third one. Oh my God, this is frustrating. I don't get anything out of this either. It's not like I get like a better reward or something. Oh God, I'm starting to just click wildly and just fail on purpose. Oh my God, I can't end the podcast until I finish at least one scan. No. Oh my God, I still can't do it. This is terrible audio.
Welcome to the Loose Screws Marathon episode.
It's our 24-hour
oh my God, why can't I
streamathon.
freaking get this? I got it. Oh my God, that had to be the 30th time I tried it.
Well, good for you. I'm so happy.
That's one, though. I got to do this 2 more times before anything counts. These plants look cool, though.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to try the jetpack. Oh, yeah, this thing's got tons of juice. Oh, wow. I could just fly forever. I guess it doesn't recharge until I land. Is that right?
No, it does. It'll recharge in the air.
Okay, so if I shoot a little bit. I guess I'm the gravity's too high. I can't stay in the air long enough for it to start recharging. I like all the big rocks too. Yeah, terrain's really, really cool. And I don't the stuff I was seeing in the ship, obviously, of like terrain pop in and stuff is not really happening here, which is good. Oh, I spoke too soon. It's kind of happening here too. So, oh well. Okay, this is probably not super great podcast stuff going on. Hey, there's blinking lights all over my Cobra. Is that just a new thing? All the ships have blinking lights now?
Navigation lights.
Yeah. Oh, so those aren't just for the taxis. Yeah, I've got the red and green navigation lights. I'm standing on my Cobra. That's kind of cool. I'm gonna, so somebody was talking about like if you find like SRVs or crashed fighters, they have panels you can cut off. These are like some of the new random encounters that you'll find out in the wastes. So that's pretty cool. I wonder. I'm kind of excited to see all the fun random stuff we get to do. I haven't gotten to play with nearly enough of this yet. It's funny, like now thinking back at it, I kind of wish I hadn't played Phase 1 because I didn't like. There was some time that over the weekend when I probably could have played this, and I felt so alpha burned out that I didn't. And I think I shouldn't have Phase 1 was the part of it that I really like. There was not enough in here that I should have had any way to do with it. Like I think I've said before, like I get beta fatigue so easily. Like I don't really want to be a tester and bug reporter kind of thing. And I'll do it somewhat, but I'm really it's because we do this podcast. It's because I do streaming. It's probably the only reason I'm paid for alpha access. So yeah, I think I got burned out because this seems pretty cool and I want to do some combat. All right. I just got in too early. This game's going to turn out okay, I think.
I think I'll keep playing. I think I'll keep playing, probably.
Yeah.
Not the alpha, but the whole game,
the real thing, yeah. Once this is done, once it's optimized, we don't have texture pop-ins and some of the other random stuff, and all that balancing's going on in the background. I feel pretty okay about it. I think, yeah, that's cool. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we close out? Since I succeeded in sampling genetic material.
Nope.
All right. Now I just gotta. What's left for me to do, man? I don't know. We don't have cheese. Oh,
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
we do.
Did you see the notes?
I'm sorry. I don't. There's so much. You put it way down at the bottom.
I mean,
Well,
Chig is not here, so we're going to do a not Chig chat, and we're going to do a not cheese.
Oh, I knew you guys would back me up. Okay, save me. What do you got?
So, not Chig chat. So, we have a Chig chat part of the Discord.
I don't have a sound for that.
I know. Well, there's no sound for it because it's not Chig chat.
Play Chig chat backwards. Just play it backwards.
No, we don't know what happens if you play Chig chat backwards.
Yeah, we don't want to call Beetlejuice or something.
Yeah. So
Beetlejuice's a nice lady.
We have a Chig chat forum on the Discord, and we have a show feedback forum, so you can leave your answers there. And my question to you is, for those of you listening to the show, if you were going to change the intro to the show into anything you wanted it to be, what would you do?
Ooh. Okay, and by the intro to the show, are we talking about the music? Are we talking about the thing that's said each time or something like that? Anything. All's on the table. Okay.
All is on the table. Entertain me.
Okay. All right. What, okay, so then that sounds great. So now there's cheese. Is that correct?
Or not cheese.
Or not
as
cheese.
the case may be.
Not cheese. All right.
Or not cheese. Because I'm not a cheese guy. I mean, I love cheese. I'm also not a drinker. But we're going to talk about beer. And in the future, I might talk about a different beer. But right now, we're going to talk about Heineken and green glass bottles and the light sensitivity of beer. I love Heineken. I don't even mind going to a bar and paying $7.50 or $8 a bottle for it because it is a quality beer made out of quality products.
Boy, you really do have a screw loose.
Yeah.
It's what James Bond drinks.
You know why they call it Heineken, don't you?
Why do they call it Heineken?
Because it's Heine in a can.
Hey, man.
It's nasty.
Ooh,
you don't drink it out of a can.
Oh my
you drink it out of a green glass bottle.
Well, the green glass is better than clear glass, and not as good as brown glass, and not as good as a can. That's it.
Wow. Stay loose and screwy, folks.